Hello, hello. Welcome back for EventCollab Clues Week 4. It's our tip of the week, that show that we started a few weeks ago. And today our guest is our CTO, James Sumpter. Welcome, James.
Thanks, Megan. Nice to be here.
I want this to be a mix of our customers and our team and myself to just give you little clues into how to use the program, and hopefully to entice some of you who aren't using it yet to give it a shot. So this week we're talking about our chat and discussions features, and apparently I'm not able to screen share today. So we do have the Be Live broadcast that's working for us, but next week I'll screen share in talk show mode, apparently, because that's the way. So we live and learn every week. Technology is our friend, right, James?
That's right. We'll see how creative we can be in describing these features today.
Well, I think these are pretty easy ones. Like, I think when I get down to templating and that kind of thing, I feel like everything we've talked about so far, it's pretty easy to get a sort of a grasp on mentally. So talking today about chat and discussions, that's not really rocket science, right? It's like everyone knows how IM system works, which is basically what our chat is. But the discussions thing is a little bit different, and how they work together is different. So I wanted to talk about that today. And as the CTO, the project manager, the man behind the team that's been developing this product from the beginning, I thought it would be cool to have you talk about kind of the impetus for the reason for the discussions and the chat feature and how they work together.
Sure. Yeah. Well, we have our founder is from the event industry, and we were privileged to marry, software developers and event industry professionals together to build EventCollab. So we were privy to a lot of the processes and what it takes to put an event on, the logistics and everything leading up to putting the event together. And a lot of our users, customers, use different things like Google Hangouts and so forth to have these communications quickly as they're working on their desktop and chat back and forth. And the issue that we found with those and a lot of the direct messages, or even if you have a group involved, is a lot of times a conversation will turn from something, innocuous like your cat's favorite food or something like that, to discussing something really important to a particular show, like a change in screen size or something to do with the stage or setting or what have you. And you realize after discussing this for a minute or so back and forth in your direct message and your Google Hangout, if you will, that some other people need to be privy to this conversation that's going on. They need to weigh in on it. How do you get that conversation out of that direct message back and forth easily and include other people and make it more of a discussion, like a group discussion? So in EventCollab, when we were building our chat, we built in the standard functionality, as Megan said, of connecting directly with someone and having the chat go back and forth. But if you ever have a conversation that's running with someone and it does turn to something where you need to include a larger group of people specific to a particular event on the chat, you can actually export. You can choose a series of comments from your chat. So you can take an entire range. So if you've been talking about it back and forth for several minutes, you can select a whole range of comments, or you can just pick one or two comments. And then you can click a little button in the chat window that says export to discussion. And when you do that, you can give the discussion a name, a topic name, and choose the event that you would like to tie that series of chat comments to. So if you're working on a particular event, you can export those chat comments, and that now becomes a discussion inside of the event. In EventCollab, if you've checked out the application or listened to Megan on some of these previous broadcasts, you know about our circles and how we group different roles of people together on events relative to what they need to be doing on the event. So you can assign that discussion to a circle, a group of people on the event. Let's say it's something for lighting designers or video production or what have you. You assign it to that circle, and everyone in that circle is notified now that this new discussion is happening on that particular event. And next time they're able to, they can log into EventCollab and weigh in on the discussion. And those comments stay there historically as kind of a comment thread. But if everybody's logged on at the same time, it also works in real time. So it becomes kind of a real-time group chat.
Right. And you can leave it unassigned so that everyone who's
on the event
can
see it.
Also, can see it and chime in, which, for big things is a kind of a big deal. And to me, the best part about that is that this avoids the, 19 thread reply to all kind of situation that we tend to get in our email when, when we're working with a large group of people on an event. So, and then it's all tied, all that history is right there for you, right inside the event.
That's right. Yeah. You always know where to go back and reference it and look for it and so forth.
Yeah. Yeah. Turnover obviously is a thing in every industry. So if someone leaves the company, you don't have to worry about whether something was in an email. If you're using the system properly, then it'll be right there inside EventCollab for when you go to do the event the next time or later on in the process. So it's not earth-shattering, but it's a very cool feature, and I think that export to discussion feature is one of the most valuable. Now, people always ask about Slack. Mm-hmm. So I know we don't have Slack integration, but there's been talk of that. So what's kind of the thought behind that potential?
Yeah, we do actually have in testing right now, internally in development, we have Slack integration. So we're testing that with our own our own use of EventCollab and watching those notifications and so forth from EventCollab come into our Slack channels, for those of you that are familiar with Slack. So I think that's something that we'll be releasing in the application probably the first of early next year. So like Q1 2018, that Slack integration will be available for everyone.
Awesome. Yeah, I noticed that you're not normally active on Google Hangout anymore because you're on that Slack channel, which is super cool, especially because you can have different, you can have the marketing one like we have, and you can have your dev one, and all of those kinds of good things. And everyone loves Slack, and this kind of actually is a good transition into talking about the fact that EventCollab's not a native app. It's a responsive website designed to work on any platform, really. Not ideal on your phone, obviously, due to the size of it, but in a pinch, you could absolutely use your phone if you needed to access any information that had to do with your event, whether you're on site or not. But I think that's kind of a nice thing with Slack integration, hopefully because the thing I've heard, that because we haven't had a native app, that the chat thing would be really useful when people are on show site. So
right. Yeah.
It seems to me like that Slack piece would help with that.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's a good way to keep up with, it's a good way to receive notifications. I know I'd rather find out about something happening in EventCollab through Slack than an email or some of the other methods of notification, even though we have a lot of those now web apps and to your phone and to your email and so forth. You get notified of important things that happen in EventCollab. But it's really nice to receive those through Slack. Yeah.
Well, and I think the native app question is funny because people, I think, are just like married to being able to click on that little button on their home screen. So what do you recommend?
EventCollab is a web application, and it's what's called responsive. And what responsive means with the web application is that it changes the way it looks depending on the device you're using for the application. So if you're on your mobile phone, the entire view of how EventCollab looks and functions is like a native application on your phone. And there are some big things that you just wouldn't want to do on your phone. Spreadsheet kind of things and so forth aren't fun on a phone, no matter what the application is. But a lot of the general stuff works and looks, just fine on your phone. And there's a way on Android phones and on iPhones that you can actually, if you're visiting EventCollab, say on your iPhone in Safari, there's an option to add to home screen. And when you do that, it basically creates a little icon representing the EventCollab web application and puts that on your home screen, just like an icon for a native app. So you can launch EventCollab just like a native application from your screen immediately. You don't have to always open up the browser on your phone, Android or iPhone. You can launch it directly with that icon and be right in there and working on your shows and so forth.
That's awesome. Yeah, I think that's a good tip too for any website that you tend to go to that you don't have an app for.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, totally. So next week we're going to talk about. It'll probably just be me, and I'll use the talk show format, and we're going to show the time tracker. So we have the ability within the app to have your team track their time, have your freelancers, any contractors working for you track their time against your event. So you can see truly where people are spending their time. And so that'll be the topic for week 5 next week. Thanks, James. I really appreciate you coming on.
Thanks, Megan. Thanks for having me.
To all of you watching this on the replay, thank you so much, and we will see you next time.
Thanks. Bye.